I've been practicing saying paragraphs without getting interrupted. You never know when you're just going to be talking and then something's going to get in your way. I have been trying to say We'll get him next time.
Picture this, you just dropped 60 bucks on a game. You have to know what it's all about before you play it though. I mean, you just bought a game without knowing anything about it, that's kind of on you at that point. But in some games, there's a little intro that plays at the start of the game that tells you basically what you need to know. And no, I don't mean the opening cutscene, I mean a video that precedes the title screen, the one you usually see and go, yeah, many people, myself included, just skip these. But today is Appreciate a Game Intro Day. They're just making up holidays now. Like, what's Arbor Day? Video game intros can be traced back all the way to the olden days, the era of arcades. Oh god, how do we make this more exciting? That's more like it. Yeah, for a while, intro videos were just demonstrations of the game, pretty much just to attract you and to pop in a quarter, which is why with arcade machines, it's called in attract mode. Some did have music and others had animations involved, but I'd say a game that changed everything was Street Fighter 2. It wasn't much, but this is, by definition, neat. I mean, the main characters of the game don't even appear, but shift alert, Super Street Fighter 2 had Ryu, and yeah, this is the Genesis version of the game, but what else can I say?
I own Super Street Fighter 2 on the Sega Genesis.
If we do want to stay on the Genesis, then Sonic 3D Blast has a wickedly impressive intro for the base Genesis. The Saturn version does have one too, but it's less impressive because one, the Saturn can play full motion video way better than the Genesis can, and two, it's early 3D animation. However, if we turn the clock back about 8 years to the NES with its Mega Man 2, we can see one of the most iconic video game intros ever. Intros have been a bit of a staple for the Mega Man series, like Mega Man 3 would follow, it didn't. Mega Man 4's intro is very detailed, but mostly explains the plot for Mega Man 1, but Mega Man X's intro is way past different and takes you through the computer of Dr. Light, warning about the capabilities of X. But a series almost synonymous with opening intros is Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64 has the silliest intro out of all of them, which I'd almost say characterizes the game, as 64 is the one Smash game you're not supposed to take seriously. Most Smash games say, I'm a real man's game, here's an orchestra, but 64 goes, here's Mario and Kirby fighting lol, with some guy screaming the name of the game at you as we go to the title screen. However, with Melee, Smash started to become a really big deal, and Melee's opening was so good, it's how the game was revealed. At E3 2001, the first thing most people saw of Melee was the first thing you see when you pop in the game. And to be fair, they were totally right in doing so. While I believe this intro isn't as good as everyone says it is, some things feel a little disorganized, it's still a stellar intro and told you everything you need to know about the game. The intro starts with all the fighters from Smash 64, then introduces you to the new guys, then loads of gameplay, all accompanied by a pretty good song. But the following game, Brawl, doesn't have the best intro. It's all just gameplay and cutscenes made for the game's story mode, but I feel like it's a little too overhated. Yeah, Melee did have the better intro, but not by much like most people claim.
The next Smash Brothers game to release was Smash on the Nintendo 3DS. It is better than Smash on Wii U's intro.
Smash for Wii U's intro, it's okay. It's also horrible for a Smash intro. It makes like zero sense. It feels more like a trailer for uploading to YouTube instead of the definitive Super Smash Bros. For Wii U intro. Smash Ultimates is way better. It's definitely like 90% gameplay, but hey, it works pretty well. Now, Smash Bros. Is a crossover franchise. All of the intros basically show, look how many characters from gaming history we have. But there's another crossover fighting franchise that has just, one of the best damn intros there ever was. Marvel vs. Capcom 2's intro has style, and it's truly descriptive of the whole game. MVC2 has so much pizzazz. It's truly one of the most charming games I've ever played. And I could talk about MVC2 for days, but I'm already droning on and on about fighting games.
Well, what else to talk about? I'm already bone dry on games I can mention. Lewis, what are you holding? Thank you, Lewis.
Yakuza is a series I think I'm a fan of. I love the games. I've dressed up as Kazuma Kiryu for Halloween once, but I've never beat a single Yakuza game. Can I consider myself a fan?
I wanted to have a different existential crisis today.
As far as I know, every Yakuza game has an intro that shows off loads of cutscenes for the game, and Yakuza itself already has loads of cutscenes, so it's like an intro generator, which is what they called me in high school. Now, for a complete tonal 180, Mario Party has opening intros, mainly just explaining how the Mario and friends got put on game boards. The one in Mario Party 4 is always looked off to me. Everything that isn't Mario related looks realistic, and it just looks really off-putting when you have all this shit going on inside of this uncanny valley looking world. But 6 is my favorite one. Admittedly, it's my favorite Mario Party game, because it's the best Mario Party game. The storybook aesthetic 6 has is really great. Only issue I have is when the page turns toward the end. It's the only time the pages turn, and it turns backwards. Maybe they're throwing a Bones Nerds everywhere, and it's actually a manga book. However, for one of my favorite games ever, it's surprising it's taken me this long to mention Left 4 Dead 2. Genuinely one of my favorite intros ever. Just 3 minutes of adrenaline-fueled badassery. You'd be doing yourself a disservice if you go your whole life without watching it. I think this is the perfect intro to any game ever. Let's analyze what it shows you. It starts out by emphasizing the importance of teamwork in the game. The whole time we see the dynamics between the 4 main characters alongside just how crazy good the game is, all accompanied by a killer song. It is certainly one of my favorite game intros.
Those are the only game intros I really know. Madden, I guess.
I mean, it's football. I don't know what else this could be. I'm glad I shared a date of birth with this game, but I wouldn't be interested in a Madden game until one jump scares me or something. Man, I cannot wait for the game to come out that has both the words Madden and 24 in the title.
That's the problem. There's only so many good intros out there. As a crazy protester outside my building once said, think of the bad video game intros.
Pocket Racers on the PSP. A wizard breaks into what looks like the most stiff party in the world and turns everyone into cars. Whatever that's all about. Zeroing for the Genesis has the famous "all your base have belonged to us" line. And while we're talking about bad games with an exponentially better internet legacy, Hotel Mario. I cannot tell you just how many Hotel Mario YouTube poops I've seen in my youth. I think it has some of the most unintentionally hilarious cutscenes in any game. Like, what other game does Luigi proudly proclaim? Spaghetti! But what I think is bottom of the barrel in terms of bad video game intros goes to none other than Ikari Warriors 2 on the NES. Why? Every letter is typed individually. That's actually common for a lot of games, but you don't get it. Every letter is typed individually, and every letter has Morse code. That makes it painfully long. Like, sometimes there's seconds between individual letters, and while some bad intros have ironic enjoyment to be had, this is a test of endurance. You can only enjoy this one if you're sadistic. Super Mario RPG's intro? Wait, this is a good game with a good intro, and I have this game.
I would cry if I woke up and my Super Mario RPG was gone.
RPGs aren't my favorite genre, but guys, I'm different. I'm one of the good video game talkers out there. I kinda dig RPGs. I mean, my favorites are Earthbound, Final Fantasy VII, and Mario RPG, but I've played enough to know it's a genre I can appreciate as long as it's on my TV screen. Earthbound has a really simple intro. It used to scare the shit out of me as a kid, but one intro I distinctly remember from my childhood was Mario Super Sluggers. It's a good intro, and when Luigi showed everyone that he got the ball, I truly learned what the words bad and ass meant together. Other Mario sports games have intros, a notable example being Mario Power Tennis, but the thing is, I grew up with Mario Super Sluggers. I didn't grow up with this game, so I don't remember it from my childhood. Doesn't mean it doesn't have a good opening cutscene though. Like, this is pretty cool. But a lot of games just opt to not have an intro, just going straight to the title screen. It doesn't bug me. Now it is starting to bug me. What kind of reverse placebo effect is this? But I will always appreciate the developers who take that extra time to make an intro video for their games. It's not every day you open a game and see an entire video play right before your eyes. It really is those little things. I can't lie though and say that this is a recent thing because it isn't. In fact, it's been a thing since the early days of gaming itself. For as long as intro videos have existed, intro videos have also not existed in some games as well, which is why I feel like they go a a little unappreciated. It's not something developers just decided to give up on like with video game manuals. Back in the day, manuals were almost guaranteed. These days, these prongs on the case are just used to hold DLC or something. Game intros, while not every game has them, can go a little unappreciated these days. So maybe next time you see a game intro, watch it a little instead of going straight to the title screen. There's a reason why these games have intros in the first place. It's for you to watch.
Which brings me to this. While I was talking, I've made a blood pact to watch every single video game intro that comes my way. And we're gonna start this with the second game that starts with L in my collection. Can I take my blood back?